What's going on right now is people have finally hit the wall on that, the refinances, because the rates are still pretty high for a cash out, but I say pretty high. They're not at all what they were, 2 months ago, but the rates are still up there. So it doesn't.
Where are they at right now?
Low sevens for cash outs.
Okay.
They're in the low sixes for an FHA purchase right now.
Okay.
But a lot of people are like what we talked about. A lot of people are cashing out because they need to pay out. They've survived on credit cards and stuff. So we've hit the end of that inflation economic train. We're at the very end of that. So that's everything that the federal government has been wanting to happen, unfortunately, is happening. Right. So, but what that's done is because other than 2008, which affected about 30% of America, most recessions affect about 15% of America.
Right. So
the other 85, number, they're okay. They keep their jobs and all that normal stuff, but that 15, 20%, that reduces, they stop buying, stop purchasing. It reduces so much that it's felt nationwide. Right. But a lot of people, it doesn't, they don't feel it. Right?
Let's go into it.
Yeah.
Let's let everybody else go online.
Yeah.
On air.
So those are the ones that get to take advantage of what's about to happen.
Fair enough.
Right? Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. If you have any questions about anything we're about to say, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com, or you can give me a call. If you're a 71 model, you can give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing
your
American dream.
Hey, you know what? The American Dream, we just said, if y'all were listening to the last segment, to stay tuned. It's getting kind of exciting. I mean, the hope is coming back, right? I mean, it was always kind of a good time, but, nobody had that much money. The value of the dollar wasn't that much. Excuse me for coughing.
It's still not that much.
But it's still not that much. But what's happening is the mortgage rates are coming down, thank goodness. Pricing is leveling out, and sometimes you're getting discounts, new homes, etc. The hope's back.
Yeah.
The hope is back that things are going to settle.
Yes, and when FHA is one of the parts for the mortgage industry, one of these sectors that they kind of guarantee. It's the government guaranteed loan.
Right.
Right now, those loans are in the low sixes.
And that's first time home.
Yes. Right. Well, it's low down payment.
Low
down payment. So you can put 3.5% down. It doesn't tier. It doesn't. The rate doesn't change for credit scores. So it's more for your average American to buy a home. Right. Most people think that you need 20% down, things like that. Great credit scores. FHA is a program around that, and it's a great program. And rates are in the low sixes. Mortgage insurance on that is 0.55, which is very low.
Wow.
Monthly mortgage insurance, which is very low. So it's a great program for the average buyer. It's a great program for most people. Now, once you get over that 740 credit score and you have, 15% down and things like that, conventional really becomes a good program for you instead.
Right.
But up until then, it's FHA is probably the right now at least, because that changes all the time.
Right.
But so what's happening? There's limited inventory.
Sure.
Right, which we've talked about. We've had record low sales for months and months, for like a year, and we only have 3.5 months of inventory. Right, so that explains that there's low inventory. Right, we should theoretically, with the sales we've had, we should be at like 9 to 12 months of inventory.
Right.
But homes just aren't coming on the market. A lot of people have bought homes at a very low interest rate. They don't want to sell because of the interest rate, because it's hard. Because, if somebody's in a $500,000 house at 3.5%, they're buying a $350,000 house at 7%.
Right.
So why sell? Doesn't make any sense.
They're just adding on that room.
Yeah, they call it's the housing generation of the golden handcuffs, right? They are handcuffed to their homes, but with gold.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on. So the inventory's slow. Supply chain's still a little jacked up. Houses aren't moving as fast as they used to. But now all of a sudden homes are down to like 8-9 months, right? So now that you can buy a home, you can get built in 8-9 months. So things like that are changing. So the housing market is moving in that direction. And what's happening is that all of the things that the Fed has wanted to do to the country to curb or kill or stop or whatever term you want to use on inflation. They wanted to get it around that 2%.
I like kill.
Yeah, kill inflation. Well, they can't kill it because
Right,
2% is an acceptable inflation rate, right? So it's not killing it.
That's just what it felt like. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, they were definitely trying to stomp.
That resonates with me, right?
Yeah. And so all of those things are starting to happen. The job openings have decreased, right? People on unemployment are staying on unemployment, right? Somebody lose their job, they get on unemployment, and they come off. So the continuing unemployment number is growing, right? First time unemployment number is growing, right? The job openings are shrinking. So all of those things, and it's happening fast. It went like from nothing to like 2 months in a row, extremely poor economic news, right? Unfortunately, this was the goal of Jerome Powell. That's his goal. He's made it very clear. The job market has to suffer for this to happen.
Yes, to make it happen.
Yeah. Jumping jobs, the pay raise that you get is no longer any different than staying at jobs. So there's no reason for you to jump to another job.
It's a lateral move, yeah.
Yeah, so there's all of those things are
other
good.
than a horrible boss. Right.
Yeah. So they're bad economic signs, but they're good signs for the cost to borrow money.
Well, you have to fall before you can start building up, right? And that's what we need to happen.
Yeah, and it's happening right. I mean, it's like
we sound happy, and there's people out there suffering, but but it had to happen.
No.
It was inevitable, and we wanted to get there as quickly as possible. It was a slow death for the last 9-10 months with Powell, and we'd much rather just rip the Band-Aid off and get started. That's where we're at, right? Is we rip the Band-Aid off and. Here we are. We're getting to build again.
Yeah, and according to Powell, it's actually not a slow death because he's comparing this last 2 years to the early 70s. And I mean, they had like years of high inflation.
Right.
Years. The Fed funds rate got to like 16%. It's at 5 right now.
So basically, they had all the money that was just sent out, all that paper that was just didn't have money behind it, had to be accounted for.
Yeah, and they had to eat it all up. They just had to eat it all up.
It had to be accounted for, and it had to kind of dissipate a little bit, and that's what happens when you throw free money out.
Yeah, and it didn't. Yeah, and it didn't take long because the CEO of Chase, J.P. Morgan Chase, was saying a few months back, like, "Hey, we're not there yet because I see he has access to see the largest amount of bank accounts, right? Well, all of a sudden, just a couple weeks ago, he's like, "Ooh, we're right there." It went from as nothing in the front of us, all of a sudden like, "Hey, it's just around the corner." So So as far as for the real estate industry, what that's going to do, it's going to do two things. One, it's going to lower mortgage rates, right? Which is going to put all these buyers back into the market, which is good news for the real estate industry, but it's bad news for the real estate industry as well, because all of these homes are now going under multiple offers. They're going to start offering, we're going to have that same rush that we had on homes that we had the last 18 months.
And it's not there all the way yet. It's starting.
No.
And so if you are right now on the fence of when you need to get in and buy a house, this is it.
Yeah.
So if you wait until the interest rates come down just a little bit more, you're going to be sitting in line waiting for a house.
I have currently 48 active people. Over the last 2 years, I have well over 200 people that are waiting for interest rates. So if the interest rates fall, and we're at, low sixes. I mean, we're Christmas Eve away from being a high 5.
And that's going to go crazy.
And that's the number. Once, hey, I got everybody's rate is in the 5. All of a sudden, boom.
Your mortgage lender's going to be calling you.
Yeah, I mean, so it's time.
Yeah.
And so the question is, if I wait for the 5, I now have to overpay for the house. Right? You can get into the house now, right? Or get it under contract. If it doesn't fall before your contract expires, you close on what the rates. Like, again, we're in the 6s.
So now that being said, let's just say you get in the low 6s right now. And I know the answer, but just for people out there, when can you refinance into the 5s? Even if the 5s come out next month, why is that not? It's because you're going to pay $100,000 asking price. Explain that a little bit more. Yeah, so you get it now, and then you pay what the sellers are still a little agreeable, right? But the rates drop in the 5s, and all of a sudden they're they're getting 6 and 7 offers per home. The sellers are no longer agreeable. Right.
So now they call it my highest. Send me your highest and best.
Right.
So they send the contract back. I've got 10 offers. Send me your highest and best. So then you got to decide. And what do you decide? Okay, we've already decided the house is going to appraise for, let's say, 500.
Right.
Right. All right. So anything over 500, the borrower has to come up with. Right.
And that's what happened a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, how much do you have? Well, I have $25,000 extra dollars. Okay, so we can offer 525. Right. And so
that's
now,
overappraised value.
Yes. Now, sometimes the homes did appraise, and we didn't need that. But most of the time, the house appraised for 500. The borrower had to bring 25,000 plus the down payment.
Well, that only happened after we were several months into it, and they started having comparables that were overpriced that made it to where it would appraise.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why you can refinance anytime. But in the first year, you have to use the original sales price, right? After a year, you can use an appraised amount. So, in the mortgage industry, it's generally suggested to wait a year, right? That's kind of what it is, right? You can do it anytime, but you've got to come up with whatever it is.
You'll be losing.
Yes,
out, right?
it'll cost you more money to do it within a year than after a year, and the advantage of the rate you would probably lose and the extra funds you would have to spend.
And it's not going to, more than likely, we can't guarantee, we don't have a crystal ball, but it's not going to go low fives. It's going to go mid high fives if it does go down.
Right now, the projections are the end of 2025. We could be high fours, low fives.
Okay.
The end of 2025. So buying now. Refinancing in 18 months.
Oh, when it comes down to 4, you're doing
you could
better.
you could be low fours or low fives, or high fours.
High fours.
Could be.
And that's projections. That's not your projections. That's other people's projections.
Yes.
We get it. I'm not trying to put you in a corner.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're doing your best effort to look at all the data that comes in and give the best response to that.
I will tell you, as a mortgage originator, because I'm a loan officer at heart first, right? I'm a manager and things like that. I'm a
You actually have a job.
But at heart, I'm an originator, right? I'm a loan officer at heart, right? The last 4 months have been pretty tough. They have been very tough.
Oh, it's put a lot of people out of business.
Yes. I mean, I've seen a lot of friends give up, and a lot of banks, a lot of stuff like that.
Old-timers,
They're
like, I'm done.
This is the first time I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm absolutely positive it's not a train.
Okay, that's a big thing, right? That you're not about to get run over, and and this goes out to a lot of people. It's not just you out there, home buyer, you out there trying to get a refinance. Everyone's been suffering, right?
Yeah,
everyone nationwide. It's not just in this industry. It's industry across the board. And we're starting to hopefully get some hope, and that's exciting to me. That because I have a lot of friends and family that aren't in the industry but suffered as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and in Austin area suffered a little bit harder than most because the tech industry and the housing industry are huge industries in Austin.
Yeah.
And they both were hit pretty hard.
Right.
So we are coming to the end of that. And so it is, in the with prosperity comes competition. So I would definitely be thinking sooner rather than later. Hey everyone, you've been listening to The Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. We hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far. If you have any questions about anything, especially what Wyatt said, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, and we will see you in just a minute.